welcome to my video. Welcome to my craft space. We're back here in my office, my studio, whatever we want to call it. It's the place where I do all of my creating. And we're going to do a few things in here. I always like to share when I make really big updates, and I feel like this is a pretty big update. So I shared a couple months back just a few little clips here and there of changing my desk around. So the last big update I did was when I did my big purge where I went, like I started in this corner and I moved all the way around the room and I went through everything and I purged a bunch of stuff. And my desk was long. And that is when I was doing classes, I was prepping kits, I was doing paper parties. I needed a long area to spread things out and package things. Since I'm not doing that anymore, I wanted to switch things around so that I could better create. When you're a full-time demonstrator and you're doing classes and paper parties, you're not really creating. You're designing a class or a paper party, or you're designing something and you're selling it and you're moving on to the next thing. You're not sitting and crafting. Like, I think that's a big misconception that happens when you're doing, Stampin' Up, or you're doing things like that. You're not really creating. It's not really about crafting. You really lose that sense of like sitting down and crafting for fun and doing the things that you love. You're designing something and moving on. So I really needed that space. I wanted to switch things back to a place where I'm creating and I'm crafting. I'm sitting and I'm crafting. And so I changed my desk around, and throughout this video, you might see a few changes as things settle in. But what I wanted was like an L-shape desk, and I want all of my crafting supplies in this corner. And that means shifting some things from over here, like some stamps. I have all of my Ali Edwards stamps over there now. Yesterday, I just moved my Close to My Heart stamps over here, and I've been thinking about it for, I don't know, a little bit, the last 24 hours, basically. And I think I have a solution for those stamps. And so we're going to get to that. This might be a longer video. It might be in a couple parts. But what I want to do is I want to shift the majority of my crafting supplies, the things that I'm searching for and looking for and creating with, to this area. I want it all here. And then the stuff that I'm reaching for, my ink pads, my stamps, all of that there. And then I have this shelf over here, and I'm going to do a little bit of organizing of it. I think this is going to be like my Stampin' Up area, where all of the Stampin' Up stamps that I have and punches that I want to keep are over there. Now, I already did over here. This is where all of my dies are. The majority of them are Stampin' Up, but I just started getting a few other ones. I have some Concord and Ninth ones in here. This is like stuff that hasn't really been organized yet. I always like stick a little, I stick them right here if I haven't filtered them into my categories. So I need to do that. I need to just filter those into some categories. And then the other thing that I want to do is under here is a lot of shipping stuff. And I want to get rid of all of this shipping stuff. I don't need it anymore. And then these are pre-made layouts that I do each month. And I want to shift these over to that area right there. And I have an idea of how to do that. And then I want to clean this area up. So the other thing that I've done is there's some stuff over here. I pulled out a couple older big shots that I have that I had when I was doing in-person classes. I don't need them anymore. I just want to get rid of them. I have my very first large Cricut machine. I need to get rid of that. I already up top have two other regular Cricut machines that still accept cartridges, because I have all of my cartridges. And then I have my old Silhouette, and those are up there. I'm going to keep those for now. I have my Joy and then my newer Cricut that doesn't accept cartridges. Don't get me started about that. So anyways, and then I've shifted a few things around. Like I put my albums up here, my Week in the Life albums, and I cleaned off that shelf and made it more decorative. I shifted all of my One Little Word albums over here, and then I've shifted a few things around here. So I really would love to get this stuff right here over here. So that's what we're going to do today. Like I said, this might be multiple videos. I'm not positive how this is all going to go, like how long all of this footage is going to be. So today I want to get all of this cleaned up and shifted over there. And I want to deal with my stamps over here. And then, yeah, so we'll go through it. So let me start over here and show you, now that you have a little bit of an overview of what's happening. What this has always been, has been my retired Stampin' Up! Items that I've kept. So anything that retired that I wanted to keep, I put it here. And then here was all of my current stuff. And that's how I was operating. And then, you know, if something retired and I didn't need it or want it, then I would put it in my bin to sell. If I wanted to keep it, I would put it over here. So what I realized is not doing Stampin' Up! In the sense of I don't care if something retires, like I'm going to buy what I want to buy. I'm going to use what I want to use. I don't care if it retires. Okay, with that thought, what I realized is I'm going to have to redo all of this because it no longer makes sense to keep things retired, not retired. So that's the first thing. So I thought, well, what if I do all of my Stampin' Up! Stuff here? Because I can see it all, you know, they're all in the same containers. I could put my punches over here, like that would work. So that was my first thought, but I was like, that's a really big job. And when I do this, I want to go through and make sure that everything I'm keeping is what I want to keep. So I'm going to have to do that. Then the next thing that I did is I shifted. So my Close to My Heart inks were here. And then my Concord and Ninth inks were here. I shifted my Close to My Heart inks up here. I don't know that I really have plans to purchase any more Close to My Heart ink. Some of those were given to me. I don't know that I'm interested in their ink pads. I am getting their 12 by 12 cardstock, but that's because it's easy to get the 12 by 12 cardstock from them. But I don't know that I need their color collection. However, Concord and Ninth, I definitely want their color collection. And I might move to having more of their 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I'm not positive. So this is now going to be more spots for Concord and Ninth ink. So that's great. I also ordered another set of these to go here. That's going to organize some of my little, like my smaller, like my chipboard stuff. It's grown and I need some more spots for that. So then this is still Lawn Fawn ink. And then the next thing I'm going to do is get another row of Stampin' Up! Ink pad organization to add to the top here. So you can see that there's just ink pads sitting there on top because I'm going to order another set so that it'll be a little bit taller. I wasn't sure that I really wanted to do that. I kind of liked that everything was the same height, but that allows me to get more of my ink pads off this. Like it allows more of my Stampin' Up! Ink pads to all be together. And depending on how that looks, I might add another row so that everything is, I don't know. I'm not planning on buying any more Stampin' Up! Ink pads. So I don't know that I will actually need that space. I actually don't mind my neutral Stampin' Up! Ink pads being right there, but we'll see. I definitely am going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more because the Stampin' Up! Ink pad organization you can get individually. So when I get a set of those ink pad ones, like I have where my markers are, those are just like empty boxes. Like there's nothing in them. And I have a couple extra of those. So I don't mind, you know, you can pull them apart. Oh, yeah, you can pull them apart. I was thinking maybe you couldn't, but now that I'm looking, like, yeah, you can pull them apart and make them however you want them to be. So that's good. So anyways, I will do that. And then this is on its way. And then I moved most of my punches off this space here. I have my circle punches and like my shape punches. And then the rest of my punches are going to go over here. So then here I have my Ali Edward stamps, and I don't know that this is like the very best solution for them, but I'm able to access them better. So I made dividers for the container that they were in, and then I just have them in here sideways. And then I know, like, if I'm looking for, her stamp sets are like, the name of them is the theme. So hobby. So I know if I'm looking for the hobby stamp set, it's going to be under H, right? And then I just have little clear bags that I put them in. And already just having this here, I have totally used them more. So that's good. And then I just moved my close to my heart stamps over here. And I think what I'm going to do is deconstruct all these, which is going to be a huge job, and put them in clear. Like, I have a whole bunch of these clear cases that I've kept over the years. I think I'm going to put all of these into clear cases and then put them here, and then I'll label the spine. So let's see how that goes. I think that will work. So that's what I'm doing here and here. So let's go ahead and get started, and I will bring you along for what I'm doing. Okay, the first thing that I've done is these are all the pre-made layouts that I have. I was thinking, I had an idea of like a container to put them in that I was just going to make. But I don't think I'm going to need to because there's so many. And I've got a handful to add to them. This is for like classes and stuff that I teach. And then I end up with these pre-made layouts. I give them away in my membership. So every month I pick somebody and I give them a set of layouts. And then I just have them. I think they're going to fit fine there. I don't really think I need to do anything else. Then I had moved all of my backstock clear page protectors out of that. I used to have a divider like this, but it held 12 by 12, and I had all of my extra backstock page protectors in that. I got rid of that, and they were just sitting flat on that shelf, but I used that basket that had the layouts in it for the page protectors. I think it's going to be okay. I also kept those wooden slabs right there are the dividers from that container thing. It was from Stampin' Storage, and it was given to me. I didn't need it for 12 by 12 paper. So I've used those for dividers. I think that's how I'm going to leave that. That way, when I need page protectors, I can pull them out. I can pull that whole basket out, set it on the floor, and then get what I need to get. So I think that is how I'm going to leave those two things. But that frees up from the layouts. It frees up this whole space here. So my goal is for all of this, I'll still need a few shipping things that I want to keep on hand. Like those envelopes right there are for the layout. So when I send the layouts to people, that's what I put them in. But all of this, I think that I can, all of it, I think I can like downsize or whatever, like clean out. So I'm going to do that. And then I was thinking that I would move my what is it called? My magazines that I get quarterly, the stamp, I forget what they're called, but I keep all of those. And then I have some idea books. I was thinking I'd be able to move that over here because where they're at right now, I think I could utilize the space a little bit better. So I'm going to go through this. There's a ton. I've already gotten rid of so much shipping stuff, but I just have more that I can get rid of that I don't need. And I think that I can utilize this space better. So let's do that. Things always get worse before they get better. I promise. These notebooks, I'm just going to move over here to this shelf, which will be fine. I'm also taking the time just to wipe down all my shelves. Living where I live, things get dirty and dusty, and so this just needs to happen. So I'm super happy. I pulled out, there were 2 of these down here. And then all 3 of these I had and they were empty. They were just in other places in my craft room. So happy that they're here. I kept a little pile of stuff that I use for shipping. That's right there. The rest of it I pulled out and I'm going to take to the post office because they'll take all that stuff back. I don't need to have it on hand anymore. The very bottom one has some shipping stuff. Like it has some 8.5 by 13 plain envelopes that are not post office. And then just some smaller bubble wrap envelopes that I just want to keep on hand. There's just a handful of them, like, I don't know, 8 or 9. And then the middle one has the blue bags that were down there. I have a whole set. I think I have like 25 of them. I was going to use them for a paper party event once. I didn't end up having the time. It's a whole thing. Now I have these like reusable bags I don't know what to do with. So I'm just going to keep them in the bin until I can figure out. Sometimes when you're organizing things, you need to just move on. Like those bags, I'm not going to get rid of them. They cost me money, but I don't exactly have a reason to use them or have them right now. But I'm in the middle of this organizational project and I need to move on. So it's fine. I have the space. I'm going to put it right there. And then that top one is empty, but I just stuck it there to see if it would fit, like if 3 would fit, and it does. So it's beautiful. I'm keeping one of these containers here, and you can see it has my transfer tape, as a bunch of things that are rolled up. Chalkboard, liner. It's honestly just a bunch of rolled up stuff. It's fine. And then there's an empty 3-ring binder in there. So that's just kind of like some miscellaneous stuff that because I don't have a closet, I really need a place to have some miscellaneous items. That's going to be perfect. So now I have this whole shelf clear, which is awesome. Both, the heart binder has nothing in it. And then the binder right next to it has like sketch things that I've purchased and printed out. And I have a bunch of those that I'm going to use that second binder for. So that's perfect. So I'm going to move my magazines and stuff over here and then see. I might stick this back up here, but I don't want to stick this up here if I'm not going to have anything in it. So then under my chair, I just have some random things. Like I have some organizational containers. That is a box of page protectors that I don't want to use, that I tried to sell. They never sold. So they're stuck down there. So anyways, now I have this open. The things that I'm getting rid of is I'm getting rid of this Dino, whatever it's called, like thermal label thing, and I had bought all this tape for it and then not used it. Like I said, I pulled out a bunch of packaging stuff that I can return to the post office. And then I have a bin of like Stampin' Up folders, and that's like a Stampin' Up portfolio thing that I got. I'm going to pile all of that up. And I don't know, do I try to sell it? I'm not sure. Like, I don't need that. There's a lot of like business things that I used for business purposes that I don't really need anymore. Up on my desk, that's a Stampin' Up Bluetooth speaker. I don't need it in here. I'm just going to put it with our other Bluetooth speakers. We'll use it outside, or maybe one of the kids will want to use it or something. And then taxes from this year, I need to file away. And I think I'm going to do away with all of this. So I was using this to organize stuff on top of my desk for like, this was my paper party stuff, or like color club stuff, or like, this is my welcome packets for my membership that I'm still working through. But I don't think I need something like that on my desk anymore. I'm thinking about getting a larger photo printer, like one that prints up to 13 inches. And I'm thinking about getting an Epson smaller printer, and I would have the space now. So I'm thinking, this is turning into a whole thing. This is what happens. I'm thinking that I might reorganize my desktop as well, because I don't think that I need this up here anymore. I'm not utilizing it the way I was in the past. So, and maybe I could use that for my 6x6 paper organization, because this is fabric. The 6x6 paper fit in here. That actually might be a really good use for this. And these were inexpensive. So anyways, it always gets worse before it gets better. So I also have this I could put on the shelf. This has some organizational things that I moved off of that. So that's the next thing. You can see I started pulling some of my Stampin' Up stamps off the shelf so I can start doing that. I also, down there, I found the other pieces to that shelf, because I always, those are, you can reorganize the way the shelves work. And so, but I always keep the extra shelves that I'm not using. But so far, I'm really very, very happy with all of this situation. So let's keep going. All right, so where I'm at, I moved my magazines and my idea books over here. I'm feeling a little bit nervous, and I'm wondering if I just... The thing is that they're heavy. That's the problem. And it's going to bow. The shelves are already bowed. This is such an old bookshelf. I've had it for, I don't know, 20 years. And it's just served different purposes over the years. And I can tell that shelf is going to bow. However, this shelf down here is higher because I have these, which are 12 by 12, and they stick out. But I'm wondering if I should just swap everything. I really need to decide about that. Otherwise, so then that's empty. I don't have anything in there, but I just stuck it up there because I was like, oh, it would work perfect in that spot. And I might just keep that like that. And then this goes down like this. I have it up here with double-sided tape and then also thumb tap. That's what we call them at our house, thumb taps. That's what Andrew called them when he was little. I just need to fix this. He called them thumb taps. But really, it's double-sided glue that held it up forever. And then I have my dies, and then this is, oh, that's the other thing that I wanted to put down here. I wanted to put right here some, like, my printer stuff. Like I have sticker paper, and I have, that's what I wanted to do. That was the whole point of doing this. See, I forget. The whole point of doing this was to put my sticker paper and my other types of printer paper over here, because currently where they're at is not way across the room, but across the room. So every time I go to print something that is needs specialty paper, I wanted a specialty paper section, which might be great. That might be a great use for that. I got to figure this out. I don't think I'm comfortable leaving the catalogs and magazines up there. I think it's just going to be too heavy. And that's why I split them up. I put one at this end and one at that end, because that's where the things go into the shelf. And so I thought it would be more stable. But as I just keep thinking about it, I'm like, that's not going to work. So I do need to figure this out. But otherwise, up here is still the same. I just have like, this is all labeled: foam brushes, magnets for all things, acrylic paints, blades for everything, 4x6 photo, Velcro dots. Those are my embossing folders. And then these are empty because that's what my Ali Edwards stamps used to be in. However, since I moved them, and I was outgrowing them, like I had too many. So the rest of this is fine. The other thing that's up here now is Ali Edwards paper. It's not 6x8. It's not 12x12. It's like a weird size, but now I might be able to move that. And then my Week in the Life and some other albums. And it'd be nice if that whole top shelf could be albums, quite honestly. I would love that. So there's a few things to tweak on here, but overall that's good. And then over here is where my TV is. We put this larger shelf on here, and then I just stacked these up. It bowed a tiny bit. It probably would have been fine, but that was such a nice little cubby. Those are some that I don't necessarily, I can access them. It's totally fine. I can pull them in and out, but it does just give that shelf a little bit more stability right there. And then these are my planner covers in here with an EC container, an EC container. And then some of these are empty. Some of these are new planners, like undated planners. And then these are 6x8 page protectors. So that's what's there. And then I'll probably shift some of this stuff around because I've pulled some containers out, but this doesn't need a lot of work. I can just shift some things around. I'm expanding my 12x12 cardstock selection, so I know that I will need to do that. I can pull out some outdated Stampin' Up! Seasonal paper, so that will be great. There's some Christmas paper that needs to go in my Christmas storage. So I'm just going to very quickly go through this and shift some things around and clean some things out. Won't take me long at all. And then that will be this whole section here, so that'll be perfect. Okay, perfect solution. So I just dropped these down on here. I knew they would fit because I had already tried putting those there before, so I knew that they would fit there. They're much better. They work much better. And then I shifted the two other ones up here. The empty one, I put those large notebooks, graph notebooks, because on the shelf over here, they're not going to fit. So then the other thing that I discovered that is really awesome is that my embossing folders fit better in this. They were in here, but the only thing I don't like about these is the corners are rounded. And so it makes it a little bit hard to store things sometimes, and my embossing folders did not fit well in that other thing. They were really shoved in there. But here, even my 6x6 ones fit perfectly. And then I have a little bit of room on the side, which is perfect. These two are empty. And then this, I'm just gonna slide right here. I would love to get some more of these. These are from IKEA and they're really super inexpensive. And I would love to get 2 more and then they would fit right there. And so that works out great. So the only thing now that I'm going to probably adjust is I'll probably take this off and put it over with my paper. But everything else now, that looks really great. I'm really happy with everything that I purged from there. It feels so much better. Everything I'm utilizing. I'll fix my embossing, my dies, because that works really well right there. And then I have this thing empty. So again, that's perfect. What's on top of here is envelopes. And then there is a container and it says it's really extra Stampin' Up product. It's like prizes and stuff. I'm going to leave all of that for a while. But eventually those 2 things will probably be adjusted and I'll use that spot for something else. But it's working right now for that to be there. I don't need to deal with that right now. And then these shelves are just decorative and then my TV. And so now I'm going to adjust this and shift some of this stuff over and then I will go from there. I am making progress. I'm feeling good about this. This is a fantastic way to spend a Saturday morning if I don't say so myself. All right, so I did shift some of this stuff around. I was able to clear this whole cube out because I had those white containers and they were empty. So I have a lot of empty storage in here, which I'm totally fine with. For instance, this box here is empty, totally fine. Up here, these 2 are empty. And then I had 2 that were down here that were empty. I've moved them to other spaces in my craft room. And then I just shifted some of this around. I do have some paper that I need to go through. So this is all current Stampin' Up paper that I need to figure out where, if I'm keeping any of it, what I don't want to keep, what I'm going to cut up to 6x6, that kind of thing. And then I think this looks great. I'm really, really happy with this. I have lots of room to grow my 12x12 cardstock, which is my goal this next year to do. I have all my specialty stuff on the bottom. So one of the tips that I have for you when you're organizing your space is everything that you access, you want to be able to access easily. I don't always get into my 12x12 specialty. And by specialty, I mean glitter, foil paper. It's all 12x12 pieces. Vellum. I don't always need that. So I don't need that up here. What I need up here is my 12x12 cardstock. And you see that's at the top of the paper pieces because I access that a lot. The next thing up is all of my page protectors. That's not necessarily backstock page protectors. And I can reach those fine and pull them down. I don't want them totally at the top. I don't want them at the bottom. And so that works out great. And then up here is stuff that I don't access as regularly. Chipboard. I have past photos in these containers, which FYI, I did do a photo organization for digital in my membership at some point in the last few months. And really all of those photos are really photos that I have backed up digitally. I really don't need these photos, right? So at some point I'm going to deal with those and I'll probably have 2 more empty containers. And so I just shifted this around. I am going to deal with the pattern paper that's on here and figure that out. But I have a lot of room to grow. I love pattern paper. So that's fantastic. Down here is backstock of like Bermuda Bay, Sahara Sand, very vanilla. Some of those are retired Stampin' Up colors that I purchased several packs of so that I would have it. And then there's some just like miscellaneous stuff, right? So again, I don't need to access all of this all the time, so I don't mind that it's on the bottom. I also just peeked in all of these just to make sure that I was clear with what was in them. That's another tip, is always be clear where and what everything is. Never shove something into like a container and then be like, oh, well, I don't know what's in that container, and then not ever revisit it again. This is empty, and I remembered I use that for gifts. So like for Valentine's Day, if I'm making gifts for the school, I'll stick items in there. At Christmas time, it came in really handy for other gifts that I needed to be a little bit crafty with. I would stick in there. And then that one is the teal one that's on top, is one of them is undated planner stuff. And what's the other one? Oh, sewing stuff. So I moved all my sewing stuff over here, and it's not behind my desk anymore because I don't need to access it. So it's my sewing kit and all of that. And then the other one is undated planners. I just recently purchased a couple undated from planner companies that were going out of business, and I wanted to have them on hand. They probably just need to be moved with my planner stuff, but they're fine right there. So this is good. So now all of this now is very good, and I can move on to what's on my desk and my stamps and see how that's going. So either I will end it here, we will wrap this up, and that's kind of what I did the first round, and the second round will have my desk and my stamps, and we'll do that, or we'll just continue on and keep going. Okay, so let's keep making progress. Thank you so much for checking out my video today. Here on the screen are 2 other videos that you can check out. If you liked these videos, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. I hope that you're having a wonderful day, and I will catch you later this week with another video. Have a wonderful day, everyone.